How's it going, everybody? Welcome. Happy Wednesday. This is the stock market update that we're doing today. If there's, of course, something that you learned, something that's helpful, do me a favor, subscribe. That helps us out a lot. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hopefully, we have our stuff fixed for today. If you have any interest in Jazz Wealth, you need someone to help manage your investments, someone that keeps an eye on it all the time and updates you constantly. Not only that, but teaches you about investing, personal finance, budgeting, and everything of the like. Check us out at jazzwealth.com. You can even schedule a call to speak directly with me. Chat with Jazz is what you're looking for on the website. Also, we have our portfolios performance always updated every week. Just click on portfolios on the website. You could see how investing with Jazz might be better than what you're currently doing. If you're one of our customers, last night we did a class for you. We did it live. You got the email in your inbox there with the link. We talked about contributing to your IRA at tax time and why those stats just do not work out in your favor. Gave you some alternatives, so be sure to check that out. We kept that one kind of short, and yeah, that's really all I got. So I'm actually going to be slowly moving this market update back. We've got some really cool things that we're working on to sort of improve on this and make this like one of the coolest things you've ever seen. So we'll need a little more time, and so we'll be scaling back the time just a little bit, maybe closer to 4:30. Let's go over to the markets here. Is it going to work? Ta-da! It works. All right, great. So let's talk about the markets today. What you are not seeing is the Dow. The Dow was lower on the day by 45. The S&P gained 4, and the Nasdaq was the leader with a gain of 55. Tech continues to be the big focus. Let's talk about the Dow for a second, because General Electric actually got taken out of the Dow, or is going to be taken out of the Dow, and Walgreens is going to replace it. So General Electric, actually, if you don't know, has been in the Dow going on 112 years. They're not going to make it to 112. It's only going to be 111. So unfortunately, that's the end for General Electric. Incidentally, if today were the day that we took General Electric out of the Dow, it lost just over 0.5%. And today we added Walgreens. Let's just say that that actually happened today. The Dow would have been positive if you do the quick math there. So we'll see. Now I'm going to go over to Walgreens real quick. The symbol is WBA if you're following along. And that was up 5.25%. Here's how this works. There are index funds that track the Dow, right? Or track a portion of the Dow, and maybe the index fund tracks all of them. And so now that there's this new stock, all those index funds have to start adjusting, closing out their General Electric and putting in Walgreens, which is why you see the stock higher by 5.15% today. Of course, some goodwill there. A lot of people are excited. But just know that if you see higher volume on Walgreens and it continues to push higher, it's because companies are being forced to sell General Electric, or fund managers are being forced to sell General Electric and replace it with Walgreens. So you'll probably see some more activity on that throughout the day. Tech was your big leader. If we could go over to the Nasdaq, we'll just use the Qs as our reference. No, actually, we're going to use the futures. If we go over to the Nasdaq for the day, killer move on the Nasdaq. Broke to new highs yet again. So you can see that there on your screen, all the way up here at the highs. By the way, for our customers, we're going to do a candlestick class coming up. I believe I have not posted it on the events yet, but I'll see if I can get them to add that. We're going to cover what all this garbage means on the charts. Is it something you should even be looking at? But more importantly, just another way for you to follow along. So basically what you need to know for now, all the way over here on the right, this big green candlestick making new highs today, that is today's move. The Nasdaq, of course, added 55 points on the day. Why? Why was the Nasdaq higher? Well, biotech. If you follow biotech stocks, they had a great move today. A lot of biotech companies shot higher, so the sector as a whole, which is what you're seeing on the screen, was higher by another 1.5% on the day. So 2 great days for the biotech stocks, and a lot of that, almost all of it, is in the Nasdaq. Some other names in the Nasdaq that killed it today. Facebook, 2% on the day, broke out to new highs. All good for them. Netflix, of course, just continues to be a beast, right? The stock was up another 3% today. Again, all-time highs, pretty cool there. Amazon, if you're following the news, Amazon was higher on the day. They added about 1%. Amazon, JP Morgan, and Berkshire Hathaway came out today and they announced the person that's going to lead their charge or their disruption of the healthcare business, right? So if you don't know, Amazon, JP Morgan, and Berkshire Hathaway, the leaders of those companies all got together and said, we've had enough. Healthcare is a mess. We want to fix it, and we have the power to do it. We've got the money, we've got the technology, and now, of course, they have distribution as well with Amazon, and so they're going to start working on that. I expect some really, really cool things from that. That's actually one news story that I'm sort of attracted to at the moment. I spend a lot of time sort of researching that. But that was another one in the Nasdaq that did really well on the day. And let's check Google. Yeah, Google was a little higher on the day. Alphabet also added about 0.5% on the day. So your tech stocks, big leaders on the day there. We talked about Walgreens already. The symbol is WBA being added to the Dow. Yeah, GE is just trying to figure out what to do there. So until that changes, going to be some issues. Here's one for the day that you're probably going to hear about. Starbucks, down 9%, almost 10%. Was down over 10% at one point on the day. Companies closing some stores. Their performance has not been great. They've missed earnings quite a bit lately over the last few cycles, and they've got to change that. Don't you find that interesting that the CEO leaves just before all of this starts to happen? So he gets to go out on a high note. That's kind of like winning the Super Bowl and then retiring, right? So good timing on his part. The interesting thing here, and I would question this a little bit more, is Starbucks closing the stores because of a performance issue? Did they go too far too fast and they need to scale back? Or is this the first, well, not the first, but is this one of the first signs that the economy is not supporting those $6, $7, $8 drinks anymore, and maybe people are starting to scale back just a little bit? That's where I read a little deeper in the news and go, is this all Starbucks' fault, or is something really happening here? We'll see. They also announced they were going to do a $20 billion share rebuyback program, and they were going to raise their dividend as well. They don't pay that much for a dividend at the moment, but they were going to raise that dividend going forward. Let's take a look at some other stuff here. Sector-wise, oil. Oil had a good day today. Remember, we talked yesterday and the day before about oil being volatile. We've got the OPEC meeting coming up on Friday. Widely expected that they're going to increase their production cap, and that is just going to create more volatility for oil. If you look at it on the charts here, just for the last few days, back and forth and back and forth, I would expect that to continue. I wouldn't think there'd be any major significant moves unless something comes out ahead of that OPEC meeting on Friday. So if you're trading oil, if you're a short-term trader in oil, well, you got a lot to work with over the next few days. Now, because of that, some of the exchange-traded funds or the different sectors of oil or different ways to look at oil, the exploration stocks shot up by 1.9% on the day. Oil ETFs, of course, did really well on the day, following along with the price of oil. Anything energy-related, XLE, these are energy stocks, not including only oil, but a lot of it is oil. And so that added 0.5% on the day. Some of the other leaders on the day were REITs. If you like REITs, if you're following REITs, they had a good day today. Bonds were a little bit lower, but nothing crazy. Bonds were down about 0.5% today. Not really anything to get excited about there. So maybe there's some news there with the REITs. Also over in retail stocks broke out to highs today, adding another 1%. The retail sector continues to do well, right? They get the way this has been going is they'll get a good string of days, then some bad news, then a good string of days, then some bad news. So where are we at now? You can see it on the screen, a good string of days. So what's next? It's a pattern. Other stocks in the news, we got Winnebago. The guys that make the RVs, obviously killing it. They beat earnings by a mile. They beat earnings by 11 cents, I believe. They said things are looking really good. People are buying RVs. They're getting them repaired. They're upgrading and all that good stuff. I don't know. I don't see the attraction myself. Like, why are you driving around? I guess because I'm in Florida. For us, if we want to go on a road trip, there's really one direction to go, right? We can't go everywhere. So I don't understand the whole RV thing, but I sure get it if you want to do that somewhere in the middle of the states. Makes more sense. Oracle. There we go. Oracle down 7% on the day. They beat their earnings. They reported earnings, of course. They beat the earnings, but going forward, their profit forecast, they lowered. Imagine if you were investing in your uncle's tire shop. I don't know. And you went to your uncle and you said, how are things going? Everything good? Yeah, we're selling lots of tires. Everything's good. We're making a good profit. Profit margins are great. And business is steady. And then you go to your uncle about 3 months later and you say, how's tires going? He goes, yep, everything's really good. little concerned that we're not going to make as much profit. The tires cost more money now, labor's cost more money, some things changed with our technology, so our overall profit is going to be lower than expected. It wouldn't cause you to be concerned in the long run, but in the short run, would you invest more money? You'd be like, no, I can't invest more money because I know I'm not going to see that return right away. There's a chance that those costs keep going higher and you may not be able to pay me back. So that's essentially the layman's simple breakdown of what's going on with Oracle. Not a problem in the long run, but in the short term, people are a little bit concerned there what might be happening as far as how they're going forward. Also, they said we're going to limit some of the reporting that we give when we announce our earnings. That's going to be a trend, by the way. Watch Wall Street slowly move away from reporting such detailed earnings every single quarter they can, and I'll bet you they will. American Airlines, if you tried to fly American Eagle anytime in the last week, your flight was probably canceled because they had a glitch in their software. They've been working on it, and this is like the worst announcement today. They said the glitch in our computer system has been stabilized. Not fixed, not improved, not changed, not, patched, but they said it's been stabilized. So chances of more canceled flights are still there. However, the bulk of what happened seems to be over in I have a family history in airlines and transportation, and I could just imagine the stress those people are going through. Not for me. PayPal. There you go. PayPal on the screen. You should be able to see that. Hitting new highs today. They bought a company called Hyperwallet, or they're buying a company called Hyperwallet. Never heard of it, never looked into it. It is apparently a good thing. Everybody's pretty excited about that. If you look at the performance of PayPal, I'm going to zoom out here, so it's going to be a little blurry. PayPal hit new highs today, but more importantly, if you're a technical trader, you're like, hey, that's new highs. We haven't been able to do that in a while. Number one, if the stock pulled back, people would be excited about that. They would be anticipating that the next move would take you above those highs. And if the stock continues higher tomorrow, I would expect people to jump in on that, chasing that sort of performance. So PayPal could be headed higher as well. Let's take a look elsewhere. We got semiconductors higher on the day by about 0.7%. Not too bad there, and the banks were basically flat. So you got the S&P on the day, really not able to do much. It was up 4 to close out the day. The focus has been on the Dow. Really, the focus is on Dow, and Trump signing the thing with the families and stuff. No, I didn't really look into it. The Russell 2000. If you're a Russell 2000 investor, you've been very happy there. That one, anything small cap. If you have those small cap mutual funds in your 401k or investing with us, we've got that small cap in there. That has been an outperformer, continues to be an outperformer, and it's just not much to complain about there. Let's look on the downside there. Volatility, if you follow volatility, taking a little bit of a break. Despite everything sort of being choppy today, volatility has really slowed down today. Bonds, we already talked about bonds. Gold, if you happen to look at gold, this continues to get worse and worse. Look at the price of gold here. I'll just go over the last few days. All the way down. The last 4 days, basically, straight down. And think about it. People get concerned. When people used to get concerned about the markets, they would go to gold. They would go to bonds. They may go to the dollar. But now what everybody's doing is saying, I don't need gold, right? Why would I take that chance? I don't know what Trump's going to say. So they're going to bonds. They're going to the dollar. They're going to other currencies. And so because of that, gold has really lost its attraction lately. You can see since hitting a high back there in April, it's done nothing but slide lower and lower. And if you're a technical trader, you know that there's really nothing to stop this for quite a while. So if you can say 1250 on the price of gold, that is probably the target that you're looking for on the downside. What else? Do I have anything else for you? I think that's about all I got. Just keep in mind, we will probably slowly be moving these further and further back in time. I really, there's something I want to do so bad with this 4 o'clock update. I don't know that we have the capability at the moment, but if it's a matter of just putting in a few things, I'm going to do it because I'm not going to spoil it. It's just really cool stuff. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to need a few weeks if it is something we end up doing, but appreciate it. Got no notifications, Elliot. That sucks. We should let YouTube know. 4:30 works for you. I love it. Any thoughts on GameStop? Looks like they're looking for a buyer. GameStop, we'll go over to that real quick. GameStop, there we go. They, to me, when the whole idea, and I started seeing commercials about this when I was in high school, I think, with GameFly and some of the other ones where you, and like Netflix, they tried it for a while. I don't think they do it anymore, where you could just get the games delivered to you, or now with the advent of the internet, of course, and all this, you could just go online and play the games. Where does GameStop fit in on all this? If they are looking for a buyer, they've got to answer that question, because I have no idea who would want to buy them unless they're planning on adding it to some of their digital capabilities they already have. If you're going to try to pick the bottom on that one, I would say choose your exit price in case things don't go the way you're hoping. Okay, is that still something? Are people still hunting for those Pokemon things? Also, sign up at Jazz Wealth website. I get all the initial emails. How do you speak over the phone? The emails have my phone number on it. Is my number? Yeah, it always goes directly to me. Otherwise, click Chat with Jazz if you just want to schedule an appointment for some time that's better for you. Happy to do it then. Appreciate it, and maybe we'll talk to you soon. So that's all I have for you for today. Stay tuned. We will be back tomorrow to do our normal 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock. And if you have any questions, you need any help, of course, you know where to go, jazzwealth.com. We've said it plenty of times. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.